Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you had a second chance? Are you willing to take a gamble, open your heart, and change your thoughts and perspective for a new chance at life? Welcome to the Wisdom Cafe. I'm your host, Arthur Tassinello, a relationship and leadership coach and mentor. Join me each week for insights into how you can have more love, happiness, peace, and abundance in your life without giving up who you are. Know that you are powerful and you are the governor of your life. So listen, learn, and leap into a better future. Have you?
Hi, I'm Arthur Tassinello. I'm your host for another weekly Wisdom Cafe show. I hope everybody out there is doing well. As you see in the opening, we talk about second chances, but there's more than just second chances. You might have a third chance or a fourth chance or a fifth chance. I know I've had a lot. And some of the chances that I've had came from within. In other words, I wanted to take a chance on something new. I wanted to do something different. And not everybody has that within them. Some people need to be told what to do, and other people don't want to be told anything. So I know that growing up for me, I had this kind of chip on my shoulder for lots of reasons that I discovered later in life. And I didn't, being told to do anything was difficult. Of course, your parents are always telling you to do stuff that you typically did. But after a while, it seems to get old even at a young age. I was chatting with a few people here in the studio earlier, and I started working at 14. Something I wanted to do because I wanted to earn money to be able to do things on my own. But that aside, I'd love to hear from any one of you out there in your comments, or if you're on the replay, write something about, have you had a second chance? I'd like to learn what that was like for you. Have you created second chances for yourself? My story, if you haven't heard it, I'll try to be quick about it, is that my real second chance, the chance, something that I really didn't create, and maybe I did create on my own, but being a young father, being divorced at a very young age, my son and I had a difficult relationship because I wasn't always there, being a part-time dad. And that part-time dad actually, when he was 14, moved 3,000 miles away, so that made it even a little bit more difficult to have a good relationship with him, even when I would fly him out or if I would fly back to see him. And it wasn't until he was 20, by the way, this is how thick I could be sometimes as an Italian, is that I realized the difficulties that he went through. I really got it that it was harder for him to not have a full-time dad there. And so I just looked up to the heavens, and because I believe in God, I said, look, God, I said, I haven't been the best dad all these years because I wasn't always there. But I want you to know that if I had a second chance to do that, it would be different for me. So lo and behold, some 2 years later, God presents this woman to me, and we get married, and within the next 2 years, we had a little girl. And so that was my blessing. That was my amazing second chance, something that I didn't think would ever happen because I wasn't looking to have that. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, because now I had the opportunity to be that dad that I said I would be to my son. And I have been that dad for 3 decades. And I continue to be that, and even a better dad to my son at this point in time. So that's when we talk about second chances. But I also like to talk about hope and love. And for me, they're very much connected. Hope, without hope, it's difficult to move forward. And if you can imagine this, if you're out there right now listening, feel what hope is like to you. If you don't have hope for something that you want to achieve in your life, or if you don't have hope for finding a new mate, or if you don't have hope that your relationship will get better, whether it's with your parents or your children or your significant other. If you don't have hope, your life kind of falls apart. So what keeps that together for you? How do you keep hope? And what do you do about hope? So when we define hope, it can be understood as a positive and optimistic state of mind that involves a belief in the possibility of a favorable outcome or a positive change. Now, we know that this is a very powerful and driving force in our lives. It's to look beyond the present circumstance and envision a better future. But how do you do that? How do you pick yourself up each day and believe that life can be better for you? What are the things that drive you to be hopeful? See, what we have found, that hope emerges from the belief that something desirable can occur. Let's face it, without hope, you just kind of fall into a pile of mush in a way. And that's what happens to many people because they don't see that they can have a better future. They don't see the possibility of being able to do something that they desire. They don't see that the passion that they have inside of them can be manifested. There's a lot of us that often look to someone else to help us. We believe that somebody else out there will come and rescue us. And maybe that's a possibility. Maybe that is your hope for you to move forward. But think about what you can do within yourself to manifest that hope, that desire to do something different, to do something better for your life. Believing in the possibility. So now we come to what I call motivation and resilience. Now again, as individuals, we're not all very resilient when it comes to doing life, to doing anything in life. Sometimes we just don't find the power within ourselves. And we start to think about all the negative stuff, and we don't think about the positive stuff, which is the possibility, which is the hope that we want to live in. It's only hope that will bring us to the next place in our life. Hope for that better future. See, hope inspires action. It fuels perseverance. It encourages us to set goals, to develop plans, and work towards achieving those plans, even in difficult situations. And it provides strength. Without hope, as they say, all is lost. So think about your emotional well-being. Does your emotional well-being instill hope? Does it embody hope? Does it instill optimism and positivity? Let's start your day off right now. And you wake up hopefully refreshed from a good night's rest, and you have a very positive mood about you. And you go about starting your day as usual, but today you decide that you want to have another chance at life. You decide that maybe it's time to not work for someone else. Or maybe it's time for you to have a promotion. Or maybe it's time for you to heal a relationship. Or just to have a better relationship with someone. You decide these things from the minute you wake up in the morning to decide what you want to do with that day. Well, sometimes your day may feel like it's just cast in stone and this is what's going to happen because this is what happens every day. It doesn't always have to be that case. I'm like you. I have my moments, my good moments and my not so good moments. I have those doubts sometimes as to what I can achieve and what I can achieve. But I also have that hope for something different happening, something better happening in my life, no matter what that may be. So I ask you to kind of think maybe a little differently today. Take on a more positive attitude, and also think about not just your relationship with other people, but your relationship with yourself. There is something that I think is very powerful and that you can do right now by yourself in your home that will get you to see a little bit deeper into who you are. I mean, really see who you are when I say not just looking in the mirror and going, oh, you know, I need more makeup, or gee, I wish I looked younger, or wishing that you looked like somebody else. I'm talking about just looking deep into your own eyes and seeing who you are, just like I would look into my own eyes and say, who are you, Arthur? What's inside of you? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of person are you? And I say it's powerful because if you do it and really mean it and really want to understand the depth of who you are, more than likely you're going to break down, because I've done this several times myself. And sometimes we like what we see and sometimes we don't like what we see. But then again, whatever that is, it's an opportunity to do something with that. If you love what you see, do something with the love that you have for yourself and that you can bring to the world. If you don't like what you see inside of you, maybe it's time to search out and seek some help, whether it's through a book, or it's through a mentor, or it's through a therapist or somebody else. Life wasn't meant to be a struggle. Life was meant to be happy and joyful. So if you're not having those things in your life, now is the time to make that change. Now is the time to be hopeful and positive and optimistic about what can happen in your life. And if you do really like what you see, now is the time, and I would say now being this moment and every moment going forward, to show that love to other people and to give them hope for a better life as well. Because now that you have hope, you have found the love within inside of you, and that love now can come forward and manifest itself into a lot better way. So we're going to talk a little bit about love when we come back, but we're going to take a quick 1 or 2 minute break here, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you had a second chance? Are you willing to take a gamble and change your thoughts and perspective? Welcome to the Wisdom Cafe. I'm your host, Arthur Tassinello, a relationship and leadership coach and mentor. Join me each Wednesday at 3 p.m. to explore what it is to be human and create that second chance.
You've been watching The Wisdom Cafe with Arthur Tassinello. For more information, please contact the studio at 888-994-4995 or send an email to arthur@arthurtassinello.com. And now, back to the show.
Hi, and welcome back to the second half of the show. I think it's so funny. I laugh at myself sometimes, folks, because some of the things that I want to talk about, I don't often really get to, and sometimes I overthink it, and sometimes I go in another direction totally from what my thoughts are. Sometimes I have to try and rein myself in. But I do want to talk to you about love. Love is really interesting because not everybody views love as, well, the definitions of love, because there are many definitions of love. We have the filial love, which is more of the affectionate love. They call this, and by the way, the different loves were described by the Greeks and philosophers, and as well as psychologists brought in a few more. But I'm just going to go over the philia love, agape love, storge love. And I think, if I can even read my own stuff, that didn't print correctly. But philia love. So we talk about that. This is from the Greek term that refers to deep affections. It's more of a friendship type of love. It is one of the four primary types of love described in ancient Greek philosophy, along with eros, romantic love, agape, unconditional love, storge, which is familial love. So philia, again, is translated as brotherly love or friendship love. This one and agape love, really, I like to talk about these a lot because it's the love that we give to our fellow man. And why do we want to do that? Because we're all we're in the same boat, on the same ship, on the same globe. We're all in this together. So if you can imagine, right, you're in space and you're looking down at the globe, are you separated from anybody on this planet? Well, maybe by maybe a few inches, a few feet, a few miles, but you're really not separated at all. If you believe in a force of energy in the world, in the planet, and think about this energy that I'm talking about, because there's energy that's coming to you, from me to you right now, over the airwaves. How does it get there? How does it know how to go from me to this device over here and from this device to another device? I know somebody can explain it to you, right? So some engineers or scientists will explain that to you, but in essence, you can't see it and you can't feel it, but yet it's there. So why not believe that there is energy between us? In fact, you will see from science, and I'll quote some of this, that there are atoms, we know that, in everything. So there are atoms in the air, there's atoms in the water, there's atoms within you. Oh, I'm sorry, me and you. That makes it better, me and you. So if you look at, if I touch somebody, if I actually physically touch somebody, you can say, yeah, I'm connected, physically connected to them. But on the other hand, as I pull away, there's still atoms between us. There's that energy between us. And that energy between us, no matter what the distance is, still exists. So we are physically, literally connected to every person in this world. We're connected to every plant. We're connected to every animal. We're connected to everything in this universe, 100%. And some of us feel that energy more than others. You often come into a room and all of a sudden somebody stands out for you because their aura, their energy just is so powerful that you feel it. And then all of a sudden when you feel it, you look in that direction and you see it, and you see the brightness of that person. But this is the love that I'm talking about. This love exists within us. It's that energy force that wants to connect. We don't want to be separate from anyone else. We really don't. But we do often separate ourselves, but why? You ever ask yourself that question, why? Why do you separate yourself from anyone else? Is it because they look different from you? Is it because of their race, their creed, their religious beliefs? Because they live on the other side of the country and they live in a place that you know nothing about, but you see as maybe not a good place? You see, what's interesting is that I don't care where you go in the world, and if you've been a lot of places, I know you recognize this, but I know that as I go anywhere in the world, I can connect with anyone because we are all the same. Everybody wants the same thing. We all want love, we all want happiness, we want security, we want somebody to care about us, we want to love other people, have other people love us. We all want exactly the same thing, so why do we create the separateness? Why do you think that happens? Because I believe differently from you? Because I believe that Republicans are bad, or I believe that Democrats are bad? We separate ourselves by the cities. My city is better than yours, or my side of the railroad tracks. I'm sure some of you can relate to this. Some of us on the other side of the railroad tracks aren't as good as the other people on the other side, right? The other side of the fence, whatever that is. So you find this, right? So you live in Florida, some people, Florida, oh, that state, why would you want to live in Florida? And other people will go, why would you want to live in California? Or why would you want to live in New York? Well, because that's where I want to live. Now, I've lived in all of these places, and I can tell you all of the differences between them for me, because I felt different there, but they were all beautiful places. I can find beautiful places in every part of this world. Every single part of this world, I can find a beautiful place. And I can find beautiful people. I know going on vacation, I would connect with people that were serving me, and I would actually become their friends. So love, filial love, is very, very powerful. But on top of that, I'm going to jump to agape love. So agape love is love that is expressed through acts of service, through acts of generosity, through acts of forgiveness or empathy or caring or compassion. It's all the virtues that I've written about in this book, 21 Days to Love. It's all the virtues. It's all the virtues that I believe that all of us need to express all the time. I don't believe that, although we can be moody, right? We can sometimes be physically ill. Sometimes mentally we're just not all together. But if we don't connect with people in a caring and kind and loving way, how can we expect that for ourselves? It's not easy to do, is it? And it's not how we need to be. I almost use the word should, and this is where I digress sometimes. I get off on another tangent because I talk about should and should you do some things. Well, I don't believe that anybody should do anything that they don't want to do, even if I believe maybe you could do that. But agape love is the all-encompassing love of your fellow man for no reason. For no reason except that they're another living human being. Why not care for them? Why not want the best for them? Maybe because you think, and I've heard this before, that if they get something, then you can't have it because you think there are limits within the possibility of life, or there's limits on the energy or the resources that are in this world. And I guarantee you'll find there are no limits on that. So my having $1 million, so you can have $1 million as well. Or you could be the billionaire. I don't always like going in the direction of money because I don't think, for me, whether you have money or not, that your life should not be filled with other things. We often look at money as, I need money, I need more money. How about needing more, or wanting? Forget the need, because money's a want. And yes, you need some, but there's a point where it becomes a want. But why not want better relationships? Why not want to be kind to everyone? Why not want to be empathetic or compassionate or caring? Or maybe, just maybe, you just can be a listener to somebody without having to tell your story, because we often do that. There's something about us that wants us to relate to other people, but when they tell you a story, we want to tell a similar story back so that they know that you can relate to it. But it's not always necessary. Sometimes people only want you to listen. That's all they want. You'll find that a lot in relationships, right? Personal relationships, especially for women wanting men sometimes to just listen. I just want you to listen to me. I just want you to hear me. I just want you to be a shoulder for me. I don't want to be fixed, as men often want to do. Fix things. Men want to fix things. We only have a few minutes left in the show. It's amazing how fast a half hour goes. And sometimes I get here and I'm going, what am I going to talk about today? Although I talk about a lot of the same stuff, maybe in a different way. What I'd like you to take away from this is just to be a human being. A human being to everyone. If you're listening to this, walk away today and say, you know what? I'm just going to go out and be kind to everyone that I meet. Feel the kindness, right? Just feel it. Don't look at somebody like, oh my gosh, you again, or look at somebody or do something silly like, oh, I can't listen to this one more time. I get it. I get all those things. I've lived it and you've lived it. But if you will practice every day the important things in life, you will see how dramatically your life changes. You will get that second chance or that third chance or that fourth chance in your life, because kindness begets kindness and love begets love, just like everything in life. But you have to do it. See, it's always about, if not me, then who? I can't wait for somebody else to do it because I need to do it. If I don't do it, then why do I expect someone else to do that, to be that? The expectation should always be on yourself. In my case, me. The expectation to be all of those virtues and to practice that every day. It's not always easy. I don't always feel like it, but I can tell you this, once you start down that road, you will not want to go anywhere else, because that's how important it is to heal yourself and to heal the planet. Forget what the news says, because they're dividing us. Forget what the news says about all the problems in the world, because that's minor compared to all the people in the world where there's positivity, where people like you and me just want hope, and we want love, and we want kindness, and we want compassion, and we want empathy. We want all of those things that we all deserve. So as I'll leave you today, I just want you to do this. And I think I do this at almost every show. there's somebody out there that cares about you and that you care about that you haven't talked to in a while. And because we don't know if today is our last day or our last minute here, I implore you to go out and call them. Call those people, text those people and just say, hey, you know what? I sure miss you. Let's talk. I love you. I hope you can do that. So from Arthur Tassinello at the Wisdom Cafe, I wish you many blessings and much love in your life, and share a kindness. Thank you.
Wisdom Cafe. Join me each Wednesday at 3 p.m. to explore what it is to be human and create that second chance as I examine ways about how you can have more peace, love, and happiness in your life. Until next week, remember this: when you change what you do and the way you look at things, the things you look at